My name is Haika, and I am originally from Pakistan. I like the education of Canada because here I learned human value being preserved. The teachers are not biased and are not teaching based on their own perceptions, but they are able to convey both the sides of the story. So I learned that from teachers, and it is important. I find it a huge accomplishment of education here that it instills the courage to say the truth, whether it hurts. I'm talking about education here because Canada gave me the kind of people from whom I got my education. From the kind of people, I mean to say that I learned how humans have a value and the importance of knowledge that elevates human being from animals. Even animals are capable of helping a human out of their stress and anxiety. Then why not humans? It is the snow season, and just as the snow becomes massive with time, the introduction of technologies over time are creating new challenges for the coming generations. My research question for this assignment was that why do people tend to use their phones for social media platforms? I want to compare the answers to these questions before and during the COVID-19 situation. I became interested in this question lately when I observed that the use of social media has increased among people and the number of posts they make about COVID and its massive disasters has increased. Actually, this made me quit social media for several months because there was so much fake news and even the real news was so horrible to digest. Then I realized that I needed a connection. I wanted to know what is going on around the world and how are people doing with the pandemic. I became interested in research and about the need of more use of social media during the pandemic. Because nowadays people take classes mostly online or work asynchronously or synchronously nowadays, but they are online on any platform and any technology. They're using these social media platforms to get refreshed with comments, reactions, and remarks of people on their artwork. But it seems like people have become more creative and tend to create more often through their selfies, their artwork, their dance motions, calligraphy, and other art forms, especially during the pandemic. When they post something on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, or TikTok, or any other platform, they're curious about knowing how they did it. They want to get feedback which makes them satisfied and feel validated for their selected piece of art. I wondered this might be the reason why people are so much on their gadgets nowadays
Because my
for
research
using these
was
platforms.
about social media using pandemic. So my coding started from the social media platforms that I highlighted: Instagram, Twitter.
Mm.
So Instagram appeared many times because I usually use Instagram a lot. I don't use Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok that much. I don't have an account on TikTok, but I use Facebook and Twitter sometimes, and I don't have account in that. So one of them was the platforms. One of the coding pattern that I seem to have in my research was the platform that people used. The other one was technology that people used, because I use cell phone and I have an iPhone that I use. That's why I noticed a lot of cell phone and iPhone patterns in my research. And then I usually wrote about my family. There was a pattern of parents and siblings here too for platforms. And then so I usually stay at home. I talked in my research about that. Nowadays everybody is usually staying at home. That's why I selected places for my one of the patrons. It was a bed. and Pakistan, Globe, Home, Ottawa, University, and Canada. So these were my patrons that I chose, and I noticed patrons in my images as well as in my text. My research journey is important because I want to know how people are doing these days, because this is really my research question, because I want to know what people's behavior are regarding relative to their circumstances and situations and locations. So I wanted to work on this subjective research, and I think I have got some idea about the social media use during the pandemic.